Hello Freedom Preppers, Perrin Lovett here with a special segment on what preppers need to know about the Austin bombings. I was thinking about doing this yesterday, and then this morning I learned that apparently the bomber is dead, was discovered and killed himself. Also, as a note, I'm back at a semi-live location, so please pardon any background noise, my potential interaction with other people in the audience, and of course the general low quality reflections, unshaven appearance. I just had a big road trip, sorry. Deal with it. Several points to this video. One, as bad as this reign of terror was, it really was not that bad at all, and I'll get to the numbers in a minute. This is going to be kind of a short video. Second, as bad as this was, it's probably, unfortunately, a harbinger of much worse to come. And these are all reasons to keep on prepping. This falls under the category not only of terrorism and crime, murder, but also general social decay and civil disorder, which is a very popular subject among preppers, and with good reason. I've got some stories I want to cover here. But first, I did a road trip. I do a lot of road trips. I missed a road trip. Practically live in my car, which might actually make a good article. Anyway, I was just down in Florida, and I had to stop by a friend's house. Excuse me, it's cigar time. Cigar time on a Wednesday morning. You know, a little tar build up there. I went into my friend's house. He went to UF. He's a big Florida Gators fan, and he had recorded the first part of this series on Aaron Hernandez, the receiver who committed murder and then hung himself in prison in Massachusetts. My friend's a Florida Gator fan. I am a New England Patriots fan, so yeah, it makes sense. The two of us would have an interest in something about Aaron Hernandez. I normally do not watch television. I hate television. I don't like popular culture outside of a few songs and old movies. But I said, what the heck? I got time to kill. I'll sit down and watch this. And I don't even think it was on ESPN or a sporting channel. It might have actually been on a women's channel. But anyway, it was a fairly decent production. And because it was recorded digitally, we got to fast forward through the stupid commercials. And this, my friend, a sports guy, can actually interject and have an intelligent conversation. He's not just a rah-rah, go team guy, but he's pretty intelligent. So we watched this thing about Hernandez. I'm not going to get into his story if you don't know anything about him. Tattooed thug, multimillionaire, superstar athlete. Neil Boortz called this the cult of the athlete, and with good reason. But as I watched this spectacle unfold from his time at UF and all the crimes he committed there, and the extraordinarily disturbing, mentally ill life that he led, and you could actually see, the trained eye can see this thing unfold, see all the pieces falling together. And of course he gets up to New England, North Attleboro, one of the nicer suburbs of Boston. Huge house, millions of dollars, set for life, keeps his thug life craziness up, ends up killing, was it one or two people, goes to prison for life, and then hung himself. Which, interestingly enough, he did that while his case was on appeal. And under Massachusetts law, we're getting into all kinds of subjects this morning. In Massachusetts, if your case is on appeal and you die, then your underlying conviction is vacated. So technically, Hernandez is not a murderer now. He can feel good about that, even though he's a suicide. Anyway, but as I watched all of this, the thought dawned in my mixed up brain that this does not look like the America that I knew. That's because it's not. It's the new America. And in the new America, you get things like crazy tattooed multimillionaires who kill people for next to no reason other than the fact that they're mentally ill nuts. And you also get things like serial bombers. So I had some stories that I put in the news last week. I think yesterday or the day before, I had pre-scheduled the latest story about yet another bombing, and then another bombing happened. And then this morning, I woke up and found out that early Wednesday morning, the bombing suspect, who had been traced to a hotel in, I think in Round Rock, one of the northern suburbs of Austin, blew himself up in his car as the SWAT team moved in. So, and the story we have right now is that he is a 24-year-old white man. Now, one thing, we don't know much at all about this case, but we do know that whatever the official story that first comes out, whatever that is, that won't be the truth. And we may never know what's at this late hour in 21st century America. We may never know what actually happened here. But apparently they have their man. There's a story about, this is not even a Texas story, but it's there's a former ATF agent is speculating that this fellow might have had an accomplice, and he's trying to put together, speculate about the motives and whether or not there could be unexploded bombs and whether or not there are going to be copycats, which is always a concern. I'll put up some of these stories. In my normal satirical, sarcastic way, at my blog, I did when this story first broke, I did not a comedy piece, but what the heck is going on here piece called hashtag box control, because the first 3 bombings were cardboard boxes placed on people's front porches, just like they had been delivered by UPS, and people opened them and they exploded. And I said, well, these are assault boxes killing people. We need to ban boxes. Where are all the gun control communists? Why don't they want to ban boxes? People are dying. A lot of folks don't like satire. They don't like thinking that deep. But it is interesting that the communists that are so big on banning guns don't ever consider banning any other type of dangerous device. Well, actually, that's not true. They just haven't got around to it in America yet. Pardon me. Wow, that's bad cigarmanship. Anyway, got that out of the way. In England, they have started banning other types of weapons, and in fact, they've kind of banned the idea, the concept of self-defense. So I know we have some viewers and some readers in England. I'm sure they could tell us more about that. But if push comes to shove, the left will be more than happy to take away any means you have of defending yourself, even if it's fighting with your fist, fighting off some attacker. But they certainly don't want to ban bombs. And there's no bump stop maker to sue. You can't really blame the NRA, because the NRA doesn't promote delivery boxes or bombs or IEDs. The second series was backpacks and other devices left on the side of the road, Iraqi style, with tripwires. And then the bomber progressed to sending devices through commercial delivery services, and I think one went off at the FedEx complex. I think that was the one I posted the story about. But anyway, we don't have a lot of folks to blame here. God forbid we actually blame the bomber for actually doing this himself. But some crazy people have jumped on President Trump because it's all his fault. Because I guess the first couple of victims were people of color, and we know that Trump hates people of color, and he didn't say anything. He didn't come out and order a ban on bombings. He didn't call on Congress to make bombs illegal. So it's his fault, which is just as stupid as you can get. And that's part of the problem. There's so much stupidity in this country. The numbers. So we have, I think it was 5 bombings, 5 victims maybe, in a city of 2 million people in the metro area of Austin. So I ran some rough numbers. Your odds of being killed or injured by one of these delivery IED box bombs was about 1 in 400,000. That's not a lot. That's in the same category as your odds of being injured or dying from a lightning strike. Actually, it's a little worse than the odds for a lightning strike, but only a little. And it's not nearly as bad as the odds of being injured or dying in an automobile accident. Your odds of dying from a car accident are like something like 1 in 165,000. The odds of being in a car accident are like 1 in 700. So that's much worse, although it's still roughly in the same category. So it's really not that big of a thing to worry about. And there's really nothing you can, unless you want to buy your own bomb bot and an x-ray machine to scan all the packages that come to your house. There's not a whole lot you can do about something like this, except not worry about it and keep up the general preps. What you should prep for is the fact that, like the Aaron Hernandez case, as this country continues to change and break down rapidly, there's going to be more of this stuff. Because as we crowd in more and more people who are ideologically, culturally incompatible, there's a saying that diversity plus proximity equals war. And that doesn't matter if it's Palestinians and Israelis, Germans and Poles. You put too many people together that don't mix, and you're going to have violence. And sometimes that violence is delivered to your porch in a box, and it goes off when you open it. I hope this doesn't happen, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot more civil unrest and things like this, and that's what it is important to prep and plan for as best you can. I'm not saying go off to the hills and totally isolate yourself, although that would be about the best guarantee of safety you could have. Just be aware of your surroundings and be aware of the changes that keep happening. And be aware of the people who keep pushing the changes. Because these same folks that will shake up and completely alter your nation to the point of war, fighting in the streets, are the same people that want to take away your means of defending yourself when the situation they created unfolds. It's astounding. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, get my cigar relit. You folks have a great week. Perrin Lovett. I'll be back on Friday with the news. Stay safe out there, and God bless Austin.